All right, absolutely insane game tonight in Montreal, and to set the stage, with a win tonight, they guarantee their spot in the playoffs. With a loss, either in regulation or in overtime, Columbus still has a shot. But to add to the intrigue, tonight was also the first NHL game of Ivan Demidov, the extremely touted Habs prospect most of us thought would be in Russia for some time. Anyway, I've never seen a game end the way this one did. By the way, we did watch this one live together on stream. You're going to have a tough time finding the stream if you don't click the bell to turn notifications on, so make sure you do so because it was an absolute blast. But let's skip right to the ending of this one. Habs, Chicago, 3-3 through regulation, overtime, no goals. It goes to the shootout. Caulfield, then Nazar, then Laine shoot. It appears there's no goal, but right before Turbo gets his chance, the referees stop the game, they review the footage, and wouldn't you know it, Frank Nazar's puck is sitting in the back of the net. How they didn't notice this, I don't know. You'd think if after the shootout attempt there's no puck on the ice, that would be an indication that it's somewhere either in the goalie's pads or in the net, which you kind of got to figure out. Either way, I'm not going to be overly critical of the refs here. You don't want to slow the shootout down too much, and they ended up making the right decision. I was really worried that they were going to have to officially go with what the call was on ice, i.e. no goal, or that Patrick Laine would get the chance to reshoot, but they ended up retroactively giving Nazar the goal. Teravainen missed, however, Nick Suzuki with the chance to keep the shootout going also missed, giving Chicago the 4-3 shootout win. I'll get to the implications of that in a minute, but arguably the bigger story of the game here was Ivan Demidov playing his first game in North America, and the man did not disappoint, especially on the offensive end. He got his first point just a few shifts in, a really nice pass to Alex Newhook. This wasn't like a second assist or throwing it from the point. He makes space, finds Newhook in the slot, 1-0 Chicago. However, the Bell Center would erupt when later in the first, Demidov, and really all of Montreal, would catch Chicago sleeping. He'd get a puck, which rattled off the end boards, fake shot, backhand, goal. His first as an NHL player. Again, Montreal went crazy. However, Montreal's early goal scoring notwithstanding, I thought they played a pretty awful game. They had extremely porous defense. Chicago would end up tying it in the second. Then Lucas Reichel, 5 minutes into the third, picks up a blocked puck, goes down. Hudson had switched. Props to him for the hustle and trying to get back. However, someone who wasn't skating hard was Ivan Demidov. So a lot of criticism about him after this play. I think it's warranted. You gotta hustle in a situation like that. It doesn't really matter what your assignment is. You need to get back, especially when it was your shot. I will say, that aside, I thought he had a great game. I was really surprised when they pulled him off the power play late in the third. I thought he was Montreal's most active player in the offensive zone. But it would be Slavkovsky off a pinball puck who would score with 3 minutes remaining to tie the game. So obviously Montreal would end up losing. What are the implications of this? Well, it's a bit scary for Habs fans. They do, however, control their destiny. If they at least get to overtime in their final game against Carolina, they're guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. Carolina, however, is a hell of a team. On the plus side, they've already got their spot. They don't need to dress anyone important. If Montreal doesn't get a point, Columbus gets in if they win their final 2 games. And realistically, that's possible because their last 2 opponents are the Islanders and the Flyers. Those are winnable games. I still think Montreal most likely makes it, and that should be very entertaining for the playoffs, but that's the game. I will say, guys, just a reminder, we do partner with the app Rate Game here on this channel. It's sort of like Letterboxd or Goodreads, but for hockey games. You go in, rate the game, leave some thoughts, and it's really nice because I personally like to have a journal of all the games that I've watched and rated. You can see what the average fan thought, read comments. It's a ton of fun. You can follow me on there and feel free to tag me or leave responses to my comments. But that's all I've got. See you guys next time. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed today's video, please drop a like, and if you want more content, there's a new basketball, football, and hockey video on screen right now. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.